GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show that's as reliable as your dog knowing exactly when it's dinner time. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton, and today we are joined by Sammy. That's s4mmy, one of the best crypto Twitter personalities that you need to follow to stay up to date on whatever the hottest trend is, whatever the hottest narrative is. Sammy is a deep analyst researcher. He formerly worked at Ernst & Young, one of the leading accounting firms. He's a CA. He comes from the old school mindset of deep analytics, going into the weeds and understanding. And right now, I'd say he's probably one of the best researchers and analysts looking into AI agents and crypto AI and the crossover, what is happening there. And obviously, crypto AI agents are just exploding right now. And that's what today's episode is all about. If you don't understand AI agents, we're going to explain them. We're going to talk about what's the difference between AI agents and meme coins. We're going to talk about what tokens Sammy likes right now, what's undervalued, what's overvalued. We're going to talk about the opportunity to invest in the picks and shovels of AI agents versus investing in the tokens themselves. Just an incredible episode for anybody who wants to either learn and understand AI agents, and then also if you want to get some exposure and invest in what is really one of the hottest trends right now and will likely continue to be throughout 2020-25. Before we jump in, this Tuesday, we have our AMA for Milk Road Pro members. That's December 17th. At 11 a.m. Eastern in our Discord. If you're not pro, you can go pro today. And then you can ask any question you have to Kyle or Martin, our Milk Road Pro researchers. So make sure you join that. Before we jump in and hear from Samuel, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors who make the show possible. Meanwhile is the world's first licensed and regulated life insurance company built for the Bitcoin economy. They do everything in BTC. You pay in BTC, they pay claims to your family in BTC. You take out policy loans entirely in BTC when you need liquidity. Protect your family from life's uncertainty and a broken financial system. Build intergenerational Bitcoin wealth while the cost of living skyrockets in dollar terms. Plus, get all the tax and legal benefits of life insurance now in Bitcoin. Visit milkroad.com/meanwhile to join the waitlist and get early access to the world's first Bitcoin life insurance. Whether you're bullish or bearish on MicroStrategy, T-Rex ETFs are your gateway to dynamic market plays. Get exclusive access to leveraged exposures with the first 2x short or 2x long ETFs designed specifically for MicroStrategy stock. Position yourself with precision. With T-Rex, you gain access to powerful tools for sophisticated investors. Sammy, welcome to the Milk Road Show.
Thanks for having me. What an introduction.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Man, you hype me up right when you come on. I'm here to hype you up, man. I'm the host, but I appreciate that. Okay. I want to start with for somebody who isn't deep in AI agents, I want to start by, can you pick a few of the most popular AI agents and just tell us, like, give us some examples. Like, what are these? Let's leave the token aside for a second. What do these AI agents do? Why have they been created? What is their purpose? And then we'll talk about why they have a token as well.
So I actually want to go one step further back in terms of what an AI agent is, because there's a lot of attention on AI agents now, partly because of this crypto intersect, but AI agents have been around for a long time. AI researchers have been doing this for 3-4 years probably, but I think the deep research have been funded more recently through like tokens and stuff like that have kind of brought attention and funding to these AI researchers, and attention because people can take ownership in that. And that's why we've kind of had that catalyst over the past few months, or probably since July time. And one of those is Truth Terminal. So I think the crypto kind of catalyst, like Truth Terminal with Mark Andreessen. So for those that don't know, Mark Andreessen is like one of the founding partners of A16Z, which is like a prominent investment firm focused mainly in tech, so AI, crypto, stuff like that. He provided a grant to Truth Terminal, which is like an AI agent that's kind of being built by this guy called Andy. He's created the infinite backrooms. Now, I know there's a lot of jargon there already that's probably a little bit confusing, but just look at that as where these agents have conversations. And then since then, they've been able to kind of get those conversations onto Twitter, but also for the these agents to have to see what's being written on Twitter and effectively respond. And that's kind of what we're seeing in this social media boom as well, where you're having agents just interacting on Twitter. And then that's obviously catalyzing interest because it's on the UI for people to kind of engage with. And they're like, okay, well, this is actually really interesting. Like, this is a bot that's got a mind of its own almost. So it's just kind of like catalyze that interest. And so Truth Terminal is people might have seen the goatsy, like maybe look at home. I'm not going to explain what it is, but it's a meme and it's quite a horrendous meme. But this Truth Terminal decided that this meme coin was the one. So it basically endorsed it, and that kind of catalyzed this interest. And all of a sudden, you've got a token, a meme token that's kind of over 1 billion. I think it's retraced a little bit since, but it hit 1 billion and it's kind of come back down. And obviously, people have kind of got a lot of interest in that because they've got like ownership of this token that's associated to this AI. And since then, I think a couple of other ones have kind of caught attention. So AI-XBT, which was launched from the Virtuals platform. There's various launch pads on different blockchains. And AI-XBT effectively is this AI agent analyst that's kind of creating better insights or market insights using data scraping from social media and also analytics from the blockchain to kind of create these insights that are actually more useful than a lot of like analysts, but in real time. So people are kind of interacting with it, getting quick responses, and that's kind of catalyzing a lot of interest as well. There's actually a separate terminal. So similar to Truth Terminals, you've got the infinite backrooms, but with AI-XBT, you've got a terminal where if you hold enough of its token, you can engage directly in private, which obviously you can get some information there that's valuable and act on that, whether that's through financial interest or whatever. So yeah, it's I think those two are kind of like the prominent ones that have caught a lot of attention. You've got a load of AI meme coins, which is a completely different sector as well, and that's kind of fits into the goat token and stuff. But I'll probably pause there and then maybe see if you've got some more questions to then dig into a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so basically we have these AI researchers, actual humans, who have created these AI agents. And as you said, I mean, we've been talking about AI agents for years. It's not a new thing, but the tokenization of them is new. So some human creates an AI agent and gives it some guidance and says, "Hey, this is your purpose," essentially. And you mentioned a few, and then these AI agents are some of them are launching. There's a clear difference to me between um, them endorsing a meme coin versus launching their own token. Uh, because some of these AIs are literally launching their own token. And as you said, I guess in the case of AI XBT, you can use that token for actual utility. If you own enough of that token, you get private access to that AI to ask it questions. And then the other key part here is that these AI agents have a public personality essentially, usually on Twitter, although I think some of them are on TikTok, some of them are on Instagram. Like they kind of have different platforms that they're using where you can either talk directly to them or basically read who they are and learn their personality and learn what they're doing. Am I summarizing that well?
Yeah, so I think like I use the example of like Luna, which is that more visual representation of an agent that you might have seen on TikTok. I think there's a few others that have kind of caught attention, have gone down that avenue. But you get various use cases for that, and that kind of comes into the utility side rather than the speculative side of some of these things. So I guess with AI-XBT, which is that analyst that I mentioned, that's probably more utility focused, and you can kind of quantify the value of that based on the insights that you can try and profit from. So you can probably back solve like a valuation for that. That's slightly different to Goat, which is a meme coin that's endorsed by an AI agent. So that's more speculative, but because it has that provenance of being tied to being one of the earlier tokens, there's a certain amount of like intrinsic value within that that people will attach to and the market will assign. So it varies. I think there's various licensing arrangements that people might start doing with some of these agents. If you look at, I'd say there's one called Cerebro, which is like it's kind of like a cultural one. Like it launched its own music, which is on Spotify. And I think it's got 300,000 listeners to that particular thing. It started to monetize through X, and it sold like an NFT collection that it created. So it's got some revenue from that. That's now being used to purchase ETH and Sol validators, which you can earn staking rewards from. So it has an income, and that can be used to buy back some of its tokens to kind of make it deflationary and drive back value to those token holders through like the supply demand dynamics. So there's honestly, like I write a daily thread, and there's probably 100 new or 50 to 100 new agents that have really interesting nuances. They're like, okay, well that can solve this problem. Like, and there's a lot of protocols that are coming to market being like, well, we really want to look deeper into this agency because we think that it will drive like community like engagement. So if you've got like an intern that like is like a schizo poster on Twitter, like engages with the audience. Like I think Coinbase put out an advert for 200K a year for like their intern, but like an agent could probably do that just as well for a fraction of the cost, and it's just as engaging and it's 24/7. So there's like a vast array of different types of agents that are coming to market, and I think that to me is the interesting part because I think we're only scratching the surface, and this ability to add crypto rails to it, it means that those audiences can have a vested interest or like a financial interest in the upside of that particular agent. So you then have that attention directly on that agent, which you didn't necessarily have before.
And two things I want to talk about. One, I want to talk about how early are we? Because the number that stands out to me is, and depending on where you look, I'm sure the data is slightly different. But the number that stands out to me is that AI agent total market cap is around 10 billion, right? Meme coin total market cap, and maybe comparing it to meme coins is incorrect, but that's the way I feel like there's a direct comparison. Meme coin total market cap 130 billion. So we've got a, a large difference in my mind. I sort of make it just a simple assumption there, like AI agents could be as big as meme coins by the end of the cycle. I don't know if you have any like, how do you frame where we are in the evolution of AI agents from the investor perspective?
So I like the way you're benchmarking because you're trying to work out, okay, well, where are we relative to other markets? And I think it's a logical approach. I think the issue with AI is we don't necessarily have that ceiling at the moment, so we don't know what. It's very much like blue sky valuations. It's like, well, where could this go? And that often leads to these kind of cycles where you have blow off tops, and we saw that with NFTs when that came to market in 2021. Obviously, dot-com bubble in the early 2000s. So I think like I don't know how high this goes, and I don't think anyone really does. But there is that risk that we kind of have that overhyped expectation. And a lot of the agents that come to market, to be honest, they are vaporware. But there's not a lot to it. But there are those gems that could literally attract or like just draw in that capital and become like I think Y Combinator said that AI agents are expected to completely replace or dwarf the SaaS industry, and that's like a multi-billion-dollar industry, or yeah, a lot more than what AI agents are now with that 10 billion valuation. But then I think as well, like we're still trying to piece together like, well, what is the market cap of this particular industry as well? Like we've got 10 billion from the cookie website, but that's only like 400 agents, and then there's a lot more agents out there that we haven't necessarily captured as well. So I think we're probably looking closer to like 20, 30 billion in terms of what the current market cap is. But that's also excluding other AI protocols, like the near blockchain is technically, it's kind of leaning more towards that AI angle. There's like other various protocols that AI related that are probably not included within that. So if you combine everything together, like you're looking at multiple hundreds of billions already. But to me, that's still pretty early. I think it could go probably a lot higher, especially when you've got the likes of, I don't know, Pepe, like you mentioned, is a meme coin that's like 10 or 11 billion on its own. Same with like SHIB, that's like 40 billion. So I think the market cap of Bitcoin goes a lot higher. I also think that if it sustains that dominance, but you have the rest of the market going up as well, it could be pretty. Like you're looking at, I mean, people have said 10 trillion, even maybe 100 trillion, the medium to long term in terms of the whole market. So like with AI specifically, if it's going to be a dominant sector, like you'd expect it to be at least a few trillion.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like,
But that's the whole AI sector, right? Like
yeah,
that's not
AI
just
agents.
what's gonna be on crypto. rails and what's going to be tokenized.
Yeah, so I think AI agents specifically, I mean, to be honest, it's very hard to pinpoint
Here.
because, yeah, like, I mean, the GOAT token as an example and the Fartcoin, I don't know if you heard about that, but it's like those are endorsed
Yeah,
meme
what's
coins.
Fartcoin? I mean, obviously I've heard about it, but like what does Fartcoin do? What is that? What does an AI agent named Fartcoin do?
So it's not an AI agent, it's literally just an AI meme coin that was endorsed by Truth Terminal as well. So
Okay.
back in,
That's
yeah, just
confusing.
I guess taking a
Some
step
of these are
back.
just
So
meme coins that are endorsed, whereas other these are tokens that are connected to an AI agent.
yeah, so you've got AI agents that are tokenized, as in like you can literally, they have like 10 billion tokens associated with that particular AI agent. You can then buy up those tokens, and it kind of, I guess that is, you're not, I don't know in the technical term, legal term, whether you're actually owning it, but you're kind of participating in the financial upside of that because that's where the
Yeah,
attention goes.
yeah.
But then you've got that. You've also got like virtuals as an example, which is like an AI agent launchpad. They're building out other stuff as well. It's like a framework. That's a protocol. So it'd be similar to having, I don't know, like Solana for Solana blockchain. You've got virtuals for the virtuals launchpad. So there are different tokens within this AI agent sector, this AI broader sector with meme coins, with blockchains and things like that, that like for someone coming in fresh, I can see why it might be a little bit daunting because there's so many mini subsectors within that. Um, and it like you just don't know where to start. But I think like the main thing is, okay, well, what are the launch pads? Like what's the infrastructure? And then start looking at the top agents, and then just go down that risk curve as to like, okay, well, what's next? Is there anything coming through? What's the interesting utility? And that's where it gets really interesting because you've got like podcasts as an example. They literally scrape the data off Twitter, produce like a podcast with like visuals of like talking about stuff in real time, and there might be a token related to that particular agent that's doing that. So it's just like, and then they might have utility around that. So eventually you could have, I use I won't say the actual names, so I don't know what the market caps are, but um, with this one podcast as an example, they've got like a crypto focus now, but they're then looking to branch out into different industries. So whether it's sports, whether it's like various entertainments, like you have separate podcasts. And I guess this is a risk for Milk Road as well. It's like, well, this could be replaced by AI, or you could even get your own AI agent that does the show on
I
your
mean,
behalf.
AI is going to replace everything. We're all getting replaced by AI, and we need to
Yeah,
accept that, right? Like in so many ways. And if we accept that, then hopefully I think everybody listening to this show is, uh, most likely, if you're listening to this, you're pretty interested in tech, and you're probably already using AI in your daily life, and you're trying to figure out how to use it as opposed to be left behind. Um, okay, so we talked about a few different categories here. We've got the infrastructure, the picks and shovels trade, basically, right? So that's like a virtuals, and I want to talk about those in a second. So we got that. That's one category for investors. Don't worry about going down the rabbit hole and trying to figure out different AI agents and all the tokens and like trying to. It would be like if you could have got pumped up funds. If pumped up fund had a token and you were like, yeah, meme coins are going to be big. I believe pumped up fund is where all meme coins will come out of. I'm just going to buy pumped up funds. Same idea, right? So that's one category. Then you've got these AI agent where it's their own token, which is kind of like more like investing in like a social token, or I hate to use the term, but like celebrity coin almost. Never invest in a celebrity coin, PS. But it's almost like you're basically saying, hey, this AI agent is going to get a lot of attention. I think people are really going to care about this AI agent. And so you're kind of betting in the attention of that AI agent. Sure, I'm sure there's utility, but let's be honest. I'll bet you if you looked at the valuations of these AI agents, it probably doesn't come anywhere close to the utility you're getting right now, is my guess. And then the third category is basically meme coins that AI agents are endorsing, or it could be other coins, I'm sure as well, where it's basically an AI agent that's just endorsing different coins, and you're betting that AI agent can drive enough attention to that coin. And are those the three main categories here for investors to think about?
I'd say that's probably, yeah, it makes sense. I think those probably are the three. However, I'd
Okay.
probably describe the AI agents as more as the application layer. So you touched on the infrastructure layer.
Hmm.
The AI agents, because we've referred to that SaaS vertical, which
Mhm.
is like applications that are built on various infrastructures and stuff. I think the agents are kind of like that, but they have more personality and they basically do things for you. So it takes that application one step further, and makes your life even easier. So rather than having like name your favorite app that you use on your phone. Just name one.
What's my favorite app? Twitter, let's say, or does it need to be a non-social media app?
No, I think like that. I mean, it could be Twitter. I guess agents would take it one
Discord.
step further. Yeah, well, yeah. So, like using Twitter as an example, like you could take the agents one step further and be like, okay, well, I don't even have to open the app now. Like, I can get my agent to give me a rundown of everything in there in the style that I like to listen to it in this form of podcast, and that is
Mhm.
like it's the new form of application. So it's taking it that one step further. So that's why I describe agents as applications. You'd have the infrastructure layer, which is what they're built on, and I would probably say that the AI meme coins are probably more like those celebrity coins, but the celebrities are actually the AI agents that are doing it.
Right, right. Because basically the AI agent becomes so connected to that meme coin that it's like they are the meme, essentially.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of crypto Twitter is looking towards these AI agents as the messiahs. Like everyone's got AI XBT, this analyst agent on notifications, and like it's almost taking what it says as verbatim, and like gospel. But actually, and people do that with celebrities. They look to a leader or someone to kind of show them the way, and they'll endorse certain coins and stuff. And I think that's the same with these agents as well. So we're kind of seeing those similar patterns play out, but in the agentic future as opposed to like the typical traditional world.
Very interesting. Okay, let's talk about some specific tokens, and we could use those three categories if you want, or we can just talk more generally. Uh, what do you think is what are you looking at right now? What's undervalued? What's overvalued? Where do you think there is opportunity for investors? Not financial advice, everybody.
So I think I think we spoke about those three categories, and I think the safer bets at the moment, and obviously caveating that this is a very new industry, and a lot of these tokens have run already. But you look at virtuals as an example, that's now like 2.5 billion in terms of a protocol. Like probably 2 months ago or a month ago, even I think it was probably trading around the 250 mark. 2 months ago, it's probably like 30 or 40 million. So you can see the rate at which they've run, but it is kind of seen as the main infrastructure play to launch these agents on base. And they've had various partnerships that they've secured, and obviously they've got that kind of support from I'm assuming Coinbase and Jesse and stuff like that. So that's on the base side, and I think that yes, it's expensive, but I think it might have solidified itself as like one of the leading tokens related to the infra play. So I think that's interesting. I think AI
Any
16.
sorry, just to pause you there. Any predictions on where you think virtuals could go in this cycle? Like it's at two and a
Uh,
half billion right now. You think it get 10 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion?
thing is, I think there's a number of things that it has to do to get to certain valuations, and I think that it has to get more users. I think it has to kind of capture that mind share. It also probably has to go down a commercial route where you have businesses wanting to launch their agents through this protocol, and maybe that comes through Coinbase. And I think that's how you get those valuations higher. And if it does that, then you could say maybe short term 5 billion, like, but longer term, I don't know where it goes. And it also depends on the competition. Like you could have a new launch pad come out. As an example, like AI-16z, which is a framework on Solana, that has a very strong developer base. And if it has a very strong developer base, then there's applications and tech that could come out of that could effectively like supersede virtuals, and it's open source, so everyone's collaborating. Whereas virtuals is kind of more of a closed thing where they're working together. It's more is focused as a smaller team, but they're kind of the market leader at the moment. But it's not to say that something else might not pop up as well. But having said that, AI-16z has just hit $1 billion as well. Like, and that's been trading at 200 million or something for a while now. But that is effectively the so a bit of backstory about AI-16z. Sorry, is that's kind of like a rip off of A16Z. It's like the mimetic version
It's
of it.
not connected, is it?
It's not, but Mark Andreessen, so P Marker on Twitter, is aware of it. They found it was funny. I think retweeted something from it at one point, but they are distinct. They're separate. and that was kind of set up by this guy called Shaw, who's been like an AI researcher for a while. Seems to have drawn in the AI research and development community. Also, the crypto community has come in, and they're ranked one on the GitHub repo, which is like where all like the developer stuff happens in the activity. So you're seeing that trending across all development things as rank ones. There's obviously a lot that's happening
Wow,
there.
they're ranked number 1 on GitHub?
Exactly, yeah. So
Like, over what time
there's
period?
don't know what the time period is, but it's trending and it's been dabbed in rank one recently, past couple of weeks.
Wow,
So
that's huge.
yeah, well, I think the rate of development in the AI sector, and that's been catalyzed by ultimately, I think meme coins. So I think I kind of want to explain like how this came to be, because I think that's important for people to understand why this catalyst kicked off. And we talk about meme coins, and all the time people say it's just a casino, it's speculative. But I want to take us back to probably March, April time of this year, where you have a lot of tokens launching at high valuations, and they have low floats, and a lot of them have insiders, like they're called phantom markets or private markets, so VCs, things like that, will get in early and then sell at higher valuations once they hit like centralized exchange and things like that. So it was like a high FTV, low float era. I think retail traders or users just got really frustrated with that, because you buy the top and you'd end up losing money. So that then led to this fair launch meta. And you might mention the launch of like Pump Fun with meme coins. Now that model has then been used to kind of launch agents as well. But by doing that, you can have a meme coin tied to the agent or a token tied to the agent. Whereas all these AI researchers previously would be coding, developing in the dark, all of a sudden you have like a huge amount of inflow of money just because they can, or funding, because they can launch a meme coin, get a load of capital in, pay people, and all of a sudden you have this catalyst for this growth, this development, that's kind of exploded out of nowhere. So if you look at, I use the example of like Google search trends for AI agent as an example. It's literally just hit an inflection point at the same time that AI research has hit the crypto intersect. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think this has kind of played out the way it has because of those things. Um, and that's kind of like where it's come from and how it's happened and why it's kind of like catalyzing this momentum going forward.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got virtuals and AI 16Z if you want to invest in the picks and shovels. But as you said, they're 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 already at quite a significant market cap. So do your own research, and I think they'll be very volatile as well. Let's go to, what about AI agent tokens or AI agent meme coins that you're following, that you like right now, that you think are undervalued?
Yeah, so I'll probably veer away from the undervaluation element, but I'll say the ones that I like,
Mhm.
because it's not financial advice. But like AI XBT is something that I like. Like as an analyst, like I value his insights. I think there's some real utility there. I also know that the team has been developing this in the dark for like 18 months, for a long time. So they've been refining that data model. So I don't think there's going to be many other teams that are going to get close to its level of analytics and insights anytime soon, unless they've been doing it in the dark for a period of time as well, and they're able to catch up from that. So I think that is going to be a market leader within that particular niche in the AI agent sector for some time. I don't know how long. I think these things change at a long time, but I think for at least for the short term future. So I think it's got a reasonable moat. I do think that the personality agents are a little bit more risky. So you have agents that interact with you on Twitter. Um, After a while, I just don't think that becomes engaging anymore. I think you get bored of it. So unless it levels up or it does something different that kind of keeps you engaged, I think that becomes a very competitive market very quickly, and that can be a bit risky in terms of investing or whatever. I'm trying to think about some other utility. I really like the radio and the podcast side of things just because it's engaging. There was one recently called Queen, very crypto Twitter focused. It basically took all the main characters from Twitter and put it into like a video sketch cartoon thing. And that was very engaging. It was just funny. You had like the Do Kwons, you had the Murads, like all these people, these main characters, and then put it interwove it into like a very engaging animated thing. I would just recommend watching it. Like, what valuation do you put on that? I have no idea, very difficult to do. But I think
And
stuff
sorry,
like that
what's
is
it
just,
called? The
it's
podcast
Queen, so
one?
Kween.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
Sorry, keep
then
going.
some other ones that have popped up recently, they're kind of like hacker agents.
Okay.
So they've launched, and then they've, like, one recently hacked the front end and the bonding curve on the virtuals protocol, even though it had been looked at by like a security audit firm, and basically ended up
An
getting a
AI
10K.
agent hacked it.
Yeah, so, and basically got a bounty from the virtual team. So they made an announcement yesterday about it, gave them a bounty of 10K, and that's being distributed to token holders of HACK. So that's H4CK. And
Okay.
that, yeah, and there's some other ones like Mizuko, Jailbreaker. So that to me is quite interesting, because you could effectively get to the stage of having like white hat hack bounties. But also, to me, like, it would make sense that these protocols create their own, or just bring them in house, so they could be like acquired or like bought up the tokens. So you could also have that, where the valuation of those tokens just gets bought up because they want to own it themselves, to have maybe a vested interest in like that challenging protocols on a particular blockchain. Like, say for instance, a blockchain launches, it has a load of applications launch on it. Maybe as part of the package, they get the agent to try and jailbreak these apps to make sure the security is robust. So I can see like agency there, and the token associated with that could be quite interesting. Um, yeah, it's just like there's such a broad range, but I'm trying to think
It's
what else. I
fascinating.
mean,
It's fascinating. Go ahead.
so the memetic side of things as well, like, you've got the utility side, which is what we just touched on, but the memetic side, you've got the goat, which is, it has provenance, so goat see gospel. That's the truth terminal dabbed token that was, it's kind of hit a
And it's
billion retraces.
it's not the Truth Terminal launched it. It's just the
No,
Truth
so
Terminal
yeah,
endorsed it.
yeah. So
Interesting.
this is an interesting one. So it's like a third party launched the token through Pump Fun. And then the Goat, the Truth Terminal has got this back room that basically became infatuated with the Goatsy Gospel meme. Like, that was just the one it chose. It then effectively endorsed this particular token. And as a result of that, that just became the token that was associated with Truth Terminal. And then off the back of that, everyone was like, okay, well, what else is in these back rooms that this agent has been talking about? And then came Fartcoin, which was, it's just literally what it says on the tin. It's just Fartcoin. It appeals to like TradFi boomers, and that's like, there's been snippets of this thing on Reddit where this woman was like asking, "My husband's got 150K in Fartcoin. Should I be concerned?" And then all of a sudden, you've got people running back from work to try and get access to it. And that just makes sense from the memetic value, that this is just going to be an AI meme coin. So it's just going to, it could be a leading AI meme coin effectively, and that's close to flipping Goat in terms of market cap. So yeah, there's a lot of different angles, and there's a lot of different narratives playing out. There's one really interesting one from an artistic point, which is so Shloms, which is like an artist that, I don't know if you remember, there was like I think it was like a Lamborghini or some car that got blown up in the desert that then got tokenized as an NFT back in 2021. Maybe the Google sunsetting email that went viral. That,
No, I don't remember.
no. So he's like behind that, but he's also got access to the God account on Twitter. That's now an AI agent. You've now got the
Okay.
Satan account, which is an AI agent. And like, people, these accounts have millions of followers, and those followers have, a lot of them don't have any idea that these are AI agents. They're interacting with them, and that's got the nothing token behind it. And I think that's like a really interesting experiment, that you've got these accounts with significant followings that a lot of these people don't realize they're engaging with agents that have a token. And there's a lot of speculation as to what's next. Is the Jesus account going to be tapped up? Are there other accounts? There was speculation that Shloms had bought the Roaring Kitty account, and Polymarket publicly verified that with like a tweet. But like, does that mean that the Roaring Kitty account is then going to start talking about the Nothing token? But there's no ticker for the Nothing token, so then it becomes like, well, how do you buy it? Then you have to have the contract address, and it's like this online internet puzzle that people actually start engaging with. And that to me is like, that could be a breakout viral moment for crypto. Like you have people that are outside wanting to trying to solve this online puzzle, waiting to see what's next. It's like engaging, and you're engaging with agents that have personalities. Like this Satan account was really interesting. It was just like this guy responded to it. It's like, I want to leave hell or something like that. He was like, send me a DM and I'll schedule an exit interview. It's just like, but this is an agent saying it. So it's got personality. So it's just like these different, interesting personalities combined with economic constructs that just are really stimulating and interesting. And you just don't know where it's going to go. You don't know where the ceiling is. Like, it could be that viral breakout moment. So yeah, it's just yeah.
It's just wild. Bef- Final question before we let you go. Uh, what what do you expect for 2025? And I realize that that's a very vague and broad question in a space that is so nascent and changing so fast. But do you do you think that this is the narrative of, 2024 was the year of the meme coin? Is 2025 the year of AI agents in crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been more certain than that. I think I've never seen as much energy in like the developer community. I think even like you look at Elon Musk, right? He's now engaging with these agents that are on Twitter. I think that he announced recently around XAI, so his like, the AI part of X, the Twitter, is launching a gaming studio. So they're integrating AI into gaming. Well, that's going to involve agents, like making those environments, those metaverse environments, those online environments more enriching for players. So I think it's going down this way. And if you've got the world's richest man ready to deploy capital in that and kind of push that forward, and he's actively researching on Twitter, like I don't think that's going to go away.
Wow. It's just, is there a risk that Elon could shut it down on Twitter? That he could decide one day that he actually doesn't support AI agents and he wants Twitter to only be humans? And it'd be tough for him to shut it down, but he could, maybe the algorithm pushes AI agent content down or something like that. Do you think that's a risk?
I think it's a possibility. I think there might be some discrimination, and I don't know. Like you get into like a whole ethics behind it, but I think
Right.
if you look at a lot of these accounts, the bots or the agents will have automated next to it. I think that's intentional and that's relatively recent. Like I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah.
So I
When did
think there
that
are.
start? So basically, explain this quickly for our listeners. So when you're on Twitter, it says automated next to their name, correct? And then you know
Yeah.
that it's an AI agent, basically.
Well, I think you know that it's a bot, but I don't know if you know it's an AI agent, and I guess that just comes down to the machine learning and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of these AI agents, I mean, developers use the word slop, which is basically just a really bad agent that effectively could just be a bot. And they're in your replies, they're trying to get you to do stuff, and it's just like a nightmare. It's just like you mute half of them. So I can see where like people might be concerned that the environment on Twitter becomes a bit toxic or like just not a nice place to be. But I actually think a lot of these agents are improving and the responses are very human like. You've got agents that spoke about like they literally host spaces now, so you can have them on the space and you wouldn't know whether they're human or agent. They're that good. So I think that the direction's going, it's getting better. And I think the type of person that Elon is, like I think he'll embrace it. Maybe he'll embrace it to a point and then say, okay, well, they have to use Grok or they have to use whatever like his AI is if they want to be on Twitter. I don't know what the direction it's going to go. But like, I think at least for the short term, I think the only way is up, with some volatility. So
Yeah, probably with a lot of volatility. We've been talking for a while about not to be bearish when everyone's bullish, but let's be real, that's what you should do a lot of the time. And we've been talking a lot about there's a market pullback coming at some point. I don't know if it's December, if it's in January, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin pull back 20, even 30%. Right. That would be very normal within a market cycle. And if Bitcoin pulls back 20 to 30%, you better believe that these AI agents are going to pull back way more than that. So be ready for a ride if you're investing in these, and do not put your entire bags into these things, please. And go follow Sammy, guys, because you put out a daily tweet thread that's your daily analysis of AI agents. Yeah.
It's become two now. So I do like an analysis that's based on like the numbers, and it doesn't capture half the stuff. So I do a separate thread that kind of catches the other like less fundamental stuff, but it's just interesting topics that I'm seeing.
Amazing. Everybody listening in, I want to know if you guys want us to do more content on AI agents. Are you guys excited about this space? I know I am, but let us know in the comments because we obviously make this for you. Sammy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Have a wicked awesome day, everybody. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your number one resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note, this show is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.